I guess the first question is, what is it about this story, like based on the book? And so I'm wondering, what is it about it that you really felt that this was the project that you're going to, do?
I wanted to play the role. That was the first thing. And when I looked at the movie in terms of directing, I was really excited by the fact that it tried to combine some things. It combined this love story through redemption, this powerful kind of character drama, the likes of which you don't see very much in movies in Hollywood. And it also had this classic bank heist action genre movie. Although that was sort of done in a unique way, rooted in this specific place where bank robbery was a trade passed down father to son. So I thought synthesizing all that stuff, if we could do it, would make a movie that would have something for everyone, that would kind of bridge the gap between these low-budget dramas and these big-budget tentpole movies. It was really intimidating, but I thought it was a challenge well worth undertaking.
You've done this really amazing thing where while I was watching this film, I truly cared about you guys much more than I cared about the cops that were trying to get after you. So when things happened to your characters, it was sad. It was like, what do you feel? I don't know. What is your take on this kind of emotion that the audience obviously will have for these characters?
I think what I wanted to do was make a story that had complex characters, that were three-dimensional, that weren't easy to put into silos of good guy, bad guy, so-and-so. John Hamm is, on the one hand, very heroic, but by the same token, he's sharp, he's a little profane, he's a little edgy and tough. These characters who are bank robbers are doing the wrong thing. They're doing an immoral thing, and yet, because they're whole people, you understand their influences on their lives. You understand the way their past, their surroundings, their parents have all pushed them into this place. And you see particularly the Doug character trying to change from that. As a consequence, you recognize that the life isn't so simple and it's not as easy to judge people.
There's something about watching a cast where they are stars, but they're good, they're solid actors, but they're given kind of like, you're allowing them to kind of showcase themselves in a much more like leading, So what is it about this cast, Jeremy and Rebecca, that you think?
The movie had, as you point out, roles that, were really sort of showcasing roles. Typically, on a movie like this, you have the protagonist has all the best roles, and then kind of secondary is the villain. And then you have like sprinkles of other people that may get a couple of good lines, but really don't get to do much. The exciting thing about this was how a lot of people could show a lot of range, and so I knew that I could attract a really interesting cast, and I was lucky. I got all my first choice, and a guy like Jeremy, he takes that part and he makes it like a real person. He makes you scared of him, but also empathize with him, which is a huge trick. And John is edgy and yet also heroic. He's dangerous and yet identifiable. And Blake, is something totally different than she's ever done before. She's broken and hurting. But you also feel, and she's clinging onto this guy in a destructive way, but you feel for her too, hopefully, even though she's kind of ultimately the downfall. And Rebecca, I want to feel like a normal person. This is like somebody off the street who's real, who anyone could have been plucked out of that bank, but she's also lovely. She's alluring, how can you not fall in love with her? And to believe that she would lead this guy down this path. So, I gave, and Chris Cooper, who's magnificent, and Pete Postlethwaite, who's obviously a legend. Giving people in this cast a chance to do great work is really rewarding as a director because they show up and make your movie better.
But does that make you, if you can sit back and look at your own performance, then do you feel that maybe you're trying something different for yourself, that you can kind of be like, wow, that's kind of cool that
The reason that I took the movie was because I wanted to play the role. I was really excited by the chance to do something that I thought was a little different. That again, like these other characters, I thought was three-dimensional. Somebody who's doing one thing, but you also view him in a separate way. That's just a rare chance to play a part like that. It's a testament to the book and the work that the guys did writing it, and I'm pleased to have gotten the chance.
Entertainment Weekly did this really, I would say, interesting article about you, about how this is like your, kind of resurgence back in. But how do you feel about it when people, because you've been away for, and then now you're kind of doing stuff, and it's just so silly how they kind of create this.
The media, the entertainment media, and all these people want to sell magazines. They want to have websites, and so one of the things that's convenient to do is to construct these narratives that have all this big drama, the behind the music narratives. You know what I mean? So they're full of all these extremes, and that's sort of what they're looking for in order to sell it. That doesn't necessarily jive with my personal experience, but I've had those narratives constructed in a way that was negative against me, and I felt was unfair. And now that story, as you mentioned, is one that's really positive. So while it doesn't totally match the arc that I see in my own life, I'll take it.